Hello, 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 hello. How are we? How are you all? Welcome to New York. Look what you're looking over. This is an incredibly emotive spot. This is an incredibly emotive spot. Sorry, I've literally got you on a pillow on StreamYard with one arm in the air with a fill light coming from my phone. How are we all? How are you all? Guys, look, now look, that there, up there, can you see all the way up there? Oh, let's see if I can. That's the the sort of New World Trade Center. And if you look, if you can, let me just turn this around. See down there, uh, that, oh, which way? Yeah, there. That, this mirrored version. There, that edge is the corner of the what used to be the South Tower of the World Trade Center, which are now two memorial fountains. They're called the North Pool and the South Pool, and they have the names of everyone who tragically died in the impact. Because, of course, thousands died when the planes went in and in the aftermath of that. But also since subsequent to 9/11, more people have now died as a consequence of health complications since. So this is actually, whilst it's an astonishing view, and that's the Hudson. Ooh, there's Hudson there. One side of the Hudson, that's the west side, and then trying to give you geography. We're signed at. This is a sort of chilling kind of analogy, really. But if you were to use the analogy of Gaza, we're right at the bottom. We're right at the bottom where Rafah would be, and so over that way is the Statue of Liberty. This is quite an emotive spot because essentially this. I mean, God forbid, back in 9/11, this is where all of that awfulness was happening, and in many respects, this is in a sense, I suppose, a sort of mausoleum, or lots of people died here, so it's quite an astonishing place. So it's 10:30 in the morning. So we were going to go. I was going to go much earlier, but we were struggling with the Wi-Fi. I had to get special. The hotels over here don't know. I wanted to make sure that we didn't lose you in the middle of doing StreamYard. Oh, let me just turn it off. My doorbell at home. That's Tim the postman. It's Tim the postman here in the UK, here in America. So it's 10:30, and I've got to leave soon because I've got a screening to go to. Well, leave. I've got half an hour. So there you go. That's where we're at. That station always reminds me of that station always reminds me for Elephant Graveyard. Coffee Morning was about to say it's 3:30, then realised you were in America. Mart Cooper. Is it Mart Cooper or Matt Cooper? How are you all? How have you all been? Someone was just asking, have I seen House of the Dragon? Advertising. I have. It's all over buses everywhere. Hasn't it come out? I think it's out next week, isn't it? You have the same ring on your doorbell, says Elsie. Yeah. It's funny seeing people come and go, isn't it, on your ring doorbell? So anyway, I've been sort of fumbling around, pulling together the news. Obviously, we live in a global globe. We live on a global globe, so I kind of know what's been happening. The election looks like it's fucking boring, guys. Who's bored? You still bored? General erection fever and all that? Is it boring? Nanny Di is just that way, getting ready. She's bless her. She's struggling. She's not doing half as much. She's doing a few little bits, and I'm doing most of the kind of running around. Mind you, she's managed to attend many of the screenings, which is good. Yeah, she is Siobhan Jordan. It's tough. I think she and I have had a little bit of a shock, when it comes to an ability to move around. Michelle Nye, hope you're well. Paddington 3 film trailer. I saw that, Faith. I tell you what, Faith, I was a bit surprised. I saw the trailer landed. Look, there we go. Just get my notification. Tribeca Festival, day 8. And not many people have watched it. Are you excited about Paddington 3? Is anyone excited? I mean, can it keep getting better? Can it keep being great? Another debate on TV tonight. I won't be watching. Had enough already. They're not very. Let me just turn the notifications on this off. That's really annoying. But look, that fit. Look at that. Look. Oh, that's much better. I can't get the chair in any closer. I'll try and get a shot of where I am after this. Oh, Tim Reed, yawn, yawn. I mean, I'm not suggesting for a minute that we should be throwing stuff at politicians because we don't know when it's dangerous, but my God, it makes it much more interesting. I'm going to say it. Don't. And that's not saying you should throw anything at anyone. It's wrong, it's criminal, it's dangerous, and you don't know if it's going to be particularly bad. But I spotted or noticed Farage. It's an ever sort of bizarre sort of range of items thrown at him. So he's had a banana milkshake, and now has he had liquid cement hurled at him? Is that what I'm seeing in a very ineffective sort of coffee cup? I'm pretty sure. Is that right? Farage hit again in the face, or they kind of missed him. He had his. I noticed he was on his bus with his kind of what do you call it? His sort of shooting cap. God Almighty! On that note, I was walking through Union Square the other night, and I cannot even begin to tell you the smell of spliff. It's like walking through armpit. Well, if you like armpits, it would be armpit heaven. It's actually like walking through armpit hell. The biggest change I've noticed in the 10 years since I've been here, or no, 5 years since I've been here, is vaping stores and cannabis stores and CBD. And no one's smoking spliff, they're all vaping it. But everywhere you go, you're walking through clouds. Now, I don't know, would that be clouds of the smell, or is it clouds of it? Because everyone doesn't seem stoned. That said, no, I didn't see that Hannah Leibshoots. Was that Labour advert parodying The Big Short? No. I'll check that out afterwards. Labour's campaigning on social media so far has just been loads of memes. Sean Tucker, are they funny ones? Oh, Concrete Jungle, you're not responsible for the thing that hit Farage, are you? They think they should have left it at just 2 Paddington films like the first film, much more. Lots of people say Paddington 2 is one of the greatest films ever. Sorry, so vaping spliff. I'm jumping about in an ADHD, absolute manic fashion. I mean, it's booming through my nostrils, and they are microdosing, Mark. Are they, Siobhan? Are they? Someone said the other day, I think we did a members live. If you're not a member, or if you are a member, if you're not a member, become a member and have a look. If you are a member, just pump in members lives playlist, and we did a sort of 30-minute live from Times Square. I'm going to be doing another one for members. There's going to be another live. I'm hoping, all being well, with screening times and getting uptown, because we're right downtown here, at the right time. We're hoping to do a members live in Central Park tonight, and then on Friday night. I thought Friday night, Friday is my mum's birthday. Maybe, yes, Friday night or Thursday night. Friday night or Thursday night. I'm going to try and do another one from Times Square at night. So go to, let me just double check. I'm just coming off the screen for a moment. I'm just going to double check that on the playlists, I've registered. Oh no, I haven't. So if you go to, what is it? Do we have members lives playlist? I'm pretty sure we do. Just 1 second. Oh yeah, members live chats. If you look up the playlist, members live chats, you'll get a lovely little run around Times Square. It's an amazing city. Yes, so everyone. So yes. So there's cannabis. Literally you ping out onto the road and it pings up your nose, and we're shooting so much stuff for you. You love it. The other most disturbing thing. First morning here, I was all over the shops hunting coffee at like 5 a.m. You think it's the big city. New York, the city that never sleeps. So it fucking does. At 4 o'clock, it's asleep. That's not on, is it? It's all asleep at 4 o'clock. That's not the city that never sleeps. We're live now, Francois. This is live now. Look, I can do this. Look, I'm going to show you the New World Trade Center. You would be forgiven for thinking that this thing here is a sort of memorial. That might have been its intention, but it's actually the entry to Westfield. It's a huge Westfield at the World Trade Center. Hi, Reese. Reese, morning. Popping in really quick to say hey and have your time and make great visit through comedy. Comedy Cellar. Now, I'm really wanted to go to the Comedy Cellar. I'm also wanted to go to the Smalls Jazz Club, but I'll probably have to go on my own. It's that funny thing where if you go on your own somewhere, you sort of feel a bit of a weirdo. But actually in America, you feel less of a weirdo because they're all weirdos. So that's kind of good. But yes, Comedy Cellar. You do get surprise acts, don't you? They just sort of jump up. That's what I hear. So yeah, thanks. That'd be a good one. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah, now, I was out at 5 a.m. looking for coffee. Chap walks up to me with a notice board, you know, like the ones you get in London saying "End of the world is coming, God is great, my name's Piers Morgan." And on it, he said, and he had a mask on, you could barely see his face. He said, and on it, on his thingy, what it said is what he then also said to me was, "Look here, mate, I'll kill your ex for a certain amount of money." I wasn't tempted. I just walked straight on. And then I filmed a little something for the vlog, but I couldn't make it too obvious with him in the back of shot because he then stopped because I hesitated, not because I was considering it. I wasn't considering it. I hesitated. Bye, Alison Fisher. Thanks for hanging out for a minute. Piers Morgan is God. Of course he is. Yeah, no, I got the words the wrong way around. Yeah, he said, "I'll kill your ex for the right amount of money." I wasn't thinking, what's the right amount of money? I was just like, I was so shocked. And then I was thinking, am I going to die? And then I thought, is someone I know going to die? And it was 5 a.m. and there was no cops anywhere. And so I carried on walking. And then I paused to turn around and he was stopped. And he was just like this. I moved fast. No, it wasn't a joke. He was shambling along. I mean, he actually looked incapable of killing anyone. But yeah, you know what? I wasn't going to challenge it. Hi, Jill Taylor. Lots of love, sweetie. So here's some. Once I was in Chelsea Village, Greenwich Village the other day, it's such a shame because I was filming a really nice kind of tracking shot of this cinema and then some basketball that was being played. And this guy walks past me and I turn around and all I saw was him from behind. He looked naked. It was incredibly pert bottom, just bouncing down whatever the road was. And as he bounced away, I could then just see he was obviously wearing a thong. So you see some crazy things. You see some great things here. Anyway, what's the news? Piers Morgan is going to interview Philip Schofield. That's what I just want to say. That. What do you think of that? Do you think this is right? This is, as you say, Natasha. Piers is God. I have to stop wandering around in the small hours of the morning, Erin. It's so interesting, though. I staggered through Soho the other night, pushing through cockroaches and rats. It's 80 degrees here. They're saying, I mean, it doesn't look it today. It's been baking sunlight. It's going to be 90 degrees on Friday, Nan's birthday. Cannot stop. Philip Schofield, Piers Morgan. Oh, what an unwholesome. You know, there's wholesomeness, isn't there, on social media, but that doesn't strike me as wholesome, does it you? But who would watch like this? I think I would. I think I'd watch it. I just want to see if he's still smoking the same vape. Do you think let's call him Scof. Do you think Scof chose that vape, as our kids suggest, because he likes to hang with the kids? That sounds wrong on every level. And it was a purely, what was his language? What was the phrase he used? It was a misguided. It was a mistake. It was ill-judged. It was, but not illegal. I'm giving Piers a pass at the moment as he's giving the IDF some grief. Me too. You know what I mean? I'm with you. It's like anyone, you know, every now and then. It's like someone posted on Twitter the other day, Christ almighty, I've agreed with Piers Morgan 3 times this week. Scof needs to retire, says Faith Goodman. Wondering what Phil's going to say or be asked that he wasn't in the documentary. Well, I mean, you know, because I mean, Piers was incredibly sort of supportive of him, wasn't he? Incredibly supportive, but not very supportive of anyone else with mental health problems. He was only sort of supportive of his mates. He's kind of got selective mental health support policy, which isn't really supporting people with mental health, is it? It's like picking and choosing. Anyway, so they say he's going to interview Philip Schofield, you know, and this is going to mark I think everyone's wanting to mark the return of Philip Schofield just because we can then say it's the return of Philip Schofield. But more sensationally, did anyone see the Kevin Spacey interview? Did anyone else see him interview Kevin Spacey? I've got a few clips here, which are quite astonishing. I'm going to find the one where he cried, because I've always thought, parking to the side what everyone thinks Kevin might have done and the fact that he hasn't actually been found guilty and all this kind of stuff, I always found him a very interesting actor. I found him a bit mannered in more recent years, but I found him quite a good... Oh, yes, it was Clodagh. Is it Clodagh and Fiona's birthday? Is it Fiona's birthday today? I think it's Fiona's birthday, isn't it? It was Clodagh's birthday the other day. Fiona, happy birthday. Claire, it is Fiona. I remember. Yeah, yay! Fiona Reid, a big happy birthday to you from New York. Fiona Reid, happy birthday from New York. Fiona Reid. Fiona Reid, happy birthday. The cleaner outside is going, what the fuck is that dude doing in there? What an absolute nutcase. There you go, Fiona. Different kind of birthday. So anyway, straight off the back of your birthday, we're going to watch Kevin Spacey crying.
You live now.
That was a rapid recovery. Let's just watch that again. I just want to. I'm not. You know, he's gone through hell. He's going through hell. We legally, undeservedly so. Some would still argue legally. So we're in that tricky situation where should we not abide by what the rules and laws have said, bearing in mind that we know people who have done bad things have got away with it, and people who've not done bad things haven't got away with it. But let's just re-note that, because as I say, I found him an intriguing actor, and there's some films I've really enjoyed him in. But what's this recovery?
You live now.
Well, I don't know. No, I mean, to be fair,
Well, it's funny you asked that question.
that was the moment that made me jump out of my. I was like, what? Hang on, I've got to watch it once more. I've only watched it 3 times.
Well, it's funny you asked that question.
Well, it's fun. Well, actually, it's just kind of like. Well, actually, funny you should say that. Actually, I got a bus and it went sort of like down Streatham Way, and then we had to come up Streatham Common, and it was really weird. So that's one quote.
Bad behaviour that you committed. What do you mean by that? What's your idea of bad behaviour when you look back at what you were doing?
Pushing the boundaries.
In what way? I mean,
being too handsy, you know, touching someone sexually.
Groping people.
Being too handsy. Hang on a minute. Being too handsy. Clutching people in a.
That I didn't know at the time they didn't want. Yeah.
That's all right.
Some people would say that that is criminal. That if you grope people in a sexual way against their wishes, that is a crime.
I agree that the word.
I agree that saying I'm handsy. Handsy? I'm handsy? That's gropey. Gropey is crimey. Crimey is nasty. Sexually is. I mean, I'm not making light of what he's doing, but this is madness.
Is a very odd word. I personally, I have caressed people. I have been gentle with people.
At this point, I nearly hurled my. What have I been eating that's American? I nearly hurled my fig rolls, my Paul Newman fig rolls. I nearly hurled them across the room. I was just like, what? What did he just say?
Personally, I have caressed people. I have been gentle with people. That is the way that I am. You're making a pass at someone. You don't.
You're making a pass at someone. I caress someone. I'm gentle with someone. This is that's the definition of grooming, isn't it? Isn't that the definition of taking advantage? Look, and I was an enormous. I don't think this is one of those interviews where you end up thinking a bit like Philip Andrew. Who's he? Prince Andrew. You think who suggested this? This can't be good. Precisely, Linda B. Digging himself a bigger hole.
Don't want to be aggressive. You want to be gentle. You want to see if they're going to respond positive.
See if they're going to respond positive. The more he says it, the more creeped out I got. Whereas, you know, if he was just like going, oh man, you know, there were many mistakes and things could be read in just so weird. So weird. It just doesn't help him.
So I think the word itself is not a word that I associate with my experience.
So the word groping, that's the word. And then, of course, just to add insult to injury, he talks about Jeff Epstein.
In 2015, I started seeing reports online, things on my Twitter account that I had flown to this guy, Jeffrey Epstein's island, and I had abused young girls. And I was like, I mean, if you'd asked me in 2015, maybe even if you'd asked me in 2002, did I know a guy named Jeffrey Epstein? I probably would have said no. Well, of course, I have since learned who he is. And I have since been able to go back and find out that the airplane that we flew on for this humanitarian mission was owned by Jeffrey Epstein. And to then learn, oh, he was actually on some of those flights. And this Maxwell woman was on some of those flights.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I believe you. I'm sorry, Kevin. I don't buy that one. I don't buy you're on a plane and you don't know. You don't know it's run by this man who looks like one of the Easter Island sculptures and a woman who's connected to one of the biggest kind of families in humanitarian. What? I'm not so, come on. It just doesn't ring true. So for me, that whole interview, he dug himself a bigger hole. Now, on that note, so if Piers does the same with Schofield, who thinks Schofield? I don't think I think Schofield is a smarter animal than. When I say smart, I'm not saying that in a sort of complimentary. I just think he's got the grooves and the moves. I think Philip. Do you know what I mean? He smokes vapes. I don't know. He's a silver fox. I just think he can. I think he might not fall foul of the same tricks that Piers has, the bear traps that Piers has lain for what's her face from Baby Reindeer and now this guy. But he's on a roll, isn't he, Piers? He's on a roll. I'll tell you who we should interview next is Benjamin Netanyahu. Should get him in there because the kind of the transparent kind of contradictions in Benjamin Netanyahu's nonsense. I mean, come on, we could spin a yarn around him. Come on. Let's do Benjamin Netanyahu after Schofield, and let's get him in there, and let's tie him up in knots, and let's sort of rub his face in it and all that kind of stuff. I still don't think Schofield is even in the same ballpark as old Spacey. Well, no, not in terms of profile, absolutely not. I mean, let's not forget he was in the cupboard with Gordon the Gopher. I wonder what tales Gordon the Gopher's got to tell. I'm going to get out of that before it goes wrong. Now, obviously, Joe Biden's son, big news here in America, was found guilty yesterday with the sort of issues around buying a gun whilst high on crack or still taking crack. So illegally having firearms. We have a poster just coming into the hotel saying there's a difference, isn't there, with having a license for a concealed weapon. I want to know, does anyone here know? I haven't asked anyone here. What's the difference between having so if you've got a concealed weapon or an unconcealed, so a concealed weapon is a weapon in a bag or about your person that you can't see, or a holstered weapon, a weapon on full show. Yeah, Nadia interviewing Netanyahu. I'd like to get hold of him as well. I'd like to sit there opposite old Benjamin boy and just give him some. It means on display. But anyway, so you're not allowed to have concealed weaponry. Anyway, so Joe Biden's son, Hunter. What name? Imagine calling your son Hunter. Hunter Biden. Hunter and hunted. Hunter. Well, it'll be like calling your child Predator or Getter or Neanderthal or Slave Man. Or that's weird, isn't it? Hunter. I mean, imagine sitting there. Go, what should we call our son? Let's call him a verb. Let's call him player. Let's call him, I don't know, singer. Singer Biden. Singer Robert Hunter Biden. No, I know, but it's kind of not fun, is it? If we call him Robert. No, right. Okay, pissed on my parade. Thanks ever so much. He has now. The more serious aspect of this story is, yes, he was done for that. Yes, he was in possession of a gun and he was high on crack cocaine and all over the place. But has he put his addiction behind him? That was his rock bottom. Could this be his rock bottom? And I thought Joe Biden said something very important yesterday. Let's just park Joe Biden, the supporter of genocide, etc., the enabler of genocide and the appeaser of genocide. Oh, God, that's so hard to put that enormous kind of file in the in tray to be dealt with later. But yes, what he talks about, there's a truth to him talking about his son having kind of turned a corner potentially. And this could be part of Hunter Biden's recovery story and rock bottom. What I'm more concerned about is the footage I saw yesterday I think these were some preemptive Juneteenth. Is it Juneteenth? That's what they call it, Juneteenth. Celebrations. This is the footage of, let me just find it. This is the footage of Joe Biden in a crowd listening to some music. And I've put, is Biden a zombie? I want to know what is going on here, and I'm just going to play it now. a bit lost. Doesn't move. So two things about this film that are deeply, deeply distressing. Deeply distressing. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what's going on. He wasn't aware he had to fist pump. He isn't dancing. He's not there. He's frozen. We've talked about it before. There's an old man vulnerable. But almost more worrying than that is this aspect. Let me just find this. Is Kamala Harris on the left there? Watch her husband's absolute lack of rhythm. The left of her. I ain't gonna love nobody but you. I ain't gonna love nobody but you. I ain't gonna love. This is Kamala Harris's husband, nobody but you. Let's watch it again. Let's watch it again. This is. The leader of the free world doesn't know where he is, and the first man of the vice president has no rhythm and goes, I love you. And they, alongside the blinking idiot of blinking, we are somehow supposed to feel confident that they can stop the annihilation of an entire people. So just to add to this, this was a little speech from Biden a little bit later.
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
What? I've listened to this so many times. I can't make head nor tail of that first thing. What does he say here?
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
Now, we're kind of laughing, but I'm more worried than laughing. This isn't about being cruel. This is about the world. Someone somewhere needs to drag this guy off the world stage. He's disorientated. He's confused. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what day of the week it is. And we're expected to believe that when he disappears for 4 or 5 days at a time, and then comes out with an announcement about the ceasefire in Gaza, that we're somehow supposed to trust what's being said. What is going on? And the weirdest part about all of this, has anyone seen a film like Mars Attacks? Where you see, these kind of sci-fi films where you get presidents who are taken over by zombies or are held hostage or a sort of, do you know what I mean? They're possessed. We are watching, when he went to the D-Day celebrations, what if we're watching a man who's literally being controlled from outer space? It's like there's no one around him kind of going, for fuck's sake, guys. How is this guy going to run for presidency? How? How was he going to, anyway? So there we go. And finally, I just want to talk about briefly the whole Hamas-Israel crisis. We are in the center, the epicenter of some of the most astonishing gaslighting going on by the quiet assassin that is Blinken. What's happened here is Israel has not said yes. They've said nothing publicly and nothing formally. We don't know what they've said to America. So America have said, here's the deal. This is a ceasefire. It's just up to Hamas. Of course, Hamas and Israel need to agree to it. Hamas have said all along, we want an end to the occupation, an end to the siege, and then we can move on and we sign up to it and everything else. That hasn't changed. And we want a prisoner swap. But we're not hearing anything from Israel. They are trying to gaslight us into thinking that Israel is behind this. The most honest aspect of this, or the most honest portrayal of this, is that both sides are still negotiating hard for the same thing, which is, on one side, the end of an occupation, the ability to rebuild their infrastructure. They'll need help with that. Restoration of the thousands of hostages that Israel have got, and people don't talk about that. Israel is holding over 3,000 Palestinians without charge, which is, it might be in a formal building, but this is hostage taking because none of the families in Palestine and the West Bank know where they are or who they're being looked after or held by. So you've got that. Israel have said nothing. They have said nothing, and what we're being expected to take with trust from the Americans, from Blinken, is that they've said yes, and this is the important narrative now. The way in which they're trying to position the whole narrative is anything that doesn't land or doesn't get agreed is only the Palestinians' fault. Hamas and Palestine are responsible for the genocide. This is how it's going to be rewritten. This is the attempt to rewrite the whole narrative, is that the genocide has all happened because of Hamas. Don't allow it. Don't buy it. Don't fall into that trap. It's a trap. It's a lie. And as many observers, Greg J. Stoker and what have you, this will potentially backfire massively if they continue to spin this lie, because we have actually heard absolutely nothing from Israel whatsoever. I was reading a particular piece by Marwan Bishara, who's a political analyst. He's talking about Blinken, and he says Blinken is so well-mannered, soft-spoken, diplomatic, but when it comes to what he says, he's the ultimate spinner, half facts, half truths. He says that the two proposals are virtually the same that have been agreed upon. But this journalist says, I'll name you two important differences. One is that the Hamas proposal calls for the end of Israel's siege, but the proposal outlined by the US doesn't. So the US's deal, and the ceasefire deal, doesn't propose the end of the siege, which, as this chap says, what's the point of this war or the past 20 years of 4 wars if we're going to go back to square one and let Israel continue to impose a siege? This will not end. There has to be change, and there has to be difference in whatever deal they strike. Anyway, guys, there you go. It's lovely to hang out with you guys. Hope you had a bit of a chuckle. And I'm going to end it now with another rather, it's a somber play. I mean, it's staggeringly beautiful in one way, but it's all, oh my God, look at that. Can you see that crane thing? Oh my God, I've just suddenly got vertigo. Please, oh my God, I've just got vertigo. There's a man hanging off. Can you see that? Up there, there's ropes coming all the way down from up there. They're clean. I can't bear it. Sorry, they're cleaning windows. Anyway, guys, have a lovely day. I think you've got Nadia and Lee tomorrow. Thank you.